Hey, welcome to the short of it. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
My head hurts.
Your head hurts. Oh yeah,
But
your head
other than
hurts. I'm
that,
sorry.
yeah.
Yeah.
You guys want to introduce yourselves for anyone who's new to the show?
Oh right.
We're gonna do that. We're just kind of like
Still working
getting
through it.
into
All
it.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't.
We
I
wanna do
assumed
a
everyone
little-
knows me. Like
She's got
You are
street cred.
prolific.
No, I really don't.
She's
but
not. She
that's
doesn't
okay.
have. She does have street cred too. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah. To the audience, I'm wearing my hat because you didn't even set me up with. The
I was going to,
question.
and then V interrupted.
He did interrupt.
Yeah, producer. messed
Damn
the
it,
whole thing up.
producer.
So let's just start over. Okay, we rewound. Okay, so start again.
Okay.
Do your thing. So here we are.
Yeah, it's the short of it. We're here again.
Yeah.
Loving short films and filmmakers that make short content and everything short, including us.
Right, and I remember you said your head hurts. Maybe if you took the hat off, your head wouldn't hurt so much.
I can't take the hat off.
Why can't you take the hat off?
That's a very good segue. Thank you for that. I can't take my hat off because, you don't know. Well, you know.
I do.
But our audience doesn't know.
Correct, yes.
So I recently had a biopsy on my scalp because I've been diagnosed with alopecia.
That sucks.
It does.
Yeah.
And it is really, really kind of heartbreaking, but I'm dealing with it.
Yeah.
My husband always said you can go bald like me and we can be twins, and I don't think I'm ready for that. But can I just say I have a greater appreciation for the slap heard around the world.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Richard. Oh, wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Yeah. Puts it in a different context,
It does.
right? Yeah.
It does,
Yeah.
because I have cried about this to my husband.
Yeah.
And it's sweet, and it's gonna be okay, this, that, and the other, but nah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I think so. So when Will Smith saw that his wife was being hurt,
Yeah.
he was like, "No,
Yeah.
this
Like
is
I
not
have
okay."
I have a
Yeah.
whole new
Yeah.
perspective on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of perspective, and this is so the worst segue ever, but Daniel Laurent is
Jesus.
with us today.
Speaking of alopecia,
I know. Jeez, guys. Great to be here.
Thank you for being here. It's a bumpy ride, but keep your seatbelt on and we'll make it through.
I will say, my mother has alopecia, and so I didn't even know. I never looked into what it was, but she's had it as long as I've been alive.
Oh, wow.
And so she figures it out. I think that there's a different level of, being out and being bold and bald, right?
Yes.
Or you
Yeah.
just figure out things.
Yeah.
So her bag is not so much being out and, being Mr. Clean,
Yeah.
right? And there's some people to do that. Shout out to Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley.
Yes.
Heck yeah.
Right? And I
Yeah.
love that she came out, and because she is such, and it's not to say that she still doesn't have her struggles with it,
Right.
right? But I think that it's important. The Will thing, without taking time, I feel a way about, because I think it was just misplaced anger that I don't think it was so much Jada, honestly, in my opinion.
Oh.
But I do think that it was some stuff within him, and it just bled out. But that happens too.
It does.
That's part of the deal.
It does.
Yeah.
I just, I walked away feeling one way, and now I'm kind of feeling like,
But see, that's what's important,
Yeah.
and hope, and not in this case, because you're not going around inflicting harm on people. At least I don't think so, right? I hope not.
not today.
Yeah, it's not on camera.
Yeah.
But I think that, unfortunately, a lot of the world needs to either personally feel it or their loved ones to feel it for them to have empathy.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, that's why. Now I get it.
Yeah.
Right? But,
For sure.
yeah. But, there's a lot of attachment to hair, and even me, You know, like I see like young people with locks and all that stuff, and I'm like, oh man, I never thought about it. It's like, damn, you're losing your hair, and so yeah, we are out here.
So you have lock envy. We'll say that.
No, not lock envy, but like, you know, I would always have like waves and a Caesar cut, but you know, it is what it is.
So we have like 30 seconds left to ask you, like, who are you?
What up?
So Daniel Laurent, often called Daniel Laurent. That's fine too, I guess. I am an artist, and what I have coined myself as of late is an intentional artist. And so my aunt says, that doesn't make any sense. What do you mean? You're either an artist or you're not. And I'm like, I'm an intentional artist. And so music is my first love. And so writing, you know, rapping, I put out maybe 8 albums myself, music videos, all that stuff. I've always been involved in imagery and just the overall presentation of myself. It was always important. Always looked up to, you know, Missy and Busta Rhymes and, you know, people who were creative in their delivery. Now I am being a little more intentional with just not going and writing songs and recording just to record. Like I want to have something that I want to highlight, maybe put the medicine in the candy, as I often say. And I know
That's deep.
I know there's certain
like
things are not always, you know, you can have legislators that are talking about child poverty, right? And people are like, womp, womp, womp.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then you have a song that is catchy and it alludes to what they're talking about, and then the person can then have a better kind of highway to deliver. So I think that's important. And music and art is so powerful, and people often misuse it, you know? So I'm being intentional to not use it. And so Tupac, who I was listening to driving here, actually,
Nice.
you know, just randomly.
Yeah.
But I still remember when that song came out, and it's not like a positive record. It's actually pretty aggressive. However, that's good too.
Yeah.
You need those. Yeah.
Which song were you listening
So it was off the collaborative album he did with Thug Life,
to? Okay.
and it's called How Long Will They Mourn Me?
Yep.
And so, you know, it one of his close friends was killed, and so they recorded the record. And so he's like, how long will they mourn me? Bury me a motherfucking G. Just don't want to die, then don't quit me. You know, it's like,
Yes.
load the clip for my eyes blurry. Don't worry, I'll get them suckers back before you buried. And I'm like, and I'm listening to this coming here. I'm like, I don't know if this sets the tone. Either way.
Nice. Yes.
So you talk about your intentional art, which I find very fascinating, because I think that, you know, we all, at least what we do here at Hull Bay, and for myself, we want to be intentional about the stories that we tell and why we're telling the stories. How does that play into, like, what are some of your passions that you are intentional about that you bring through your art form?
I think I've always had a certain level of consciousness without being able to identify it and put it into words. And I guess what I mean by that is, growing up, you know, I would listen to, not all the time, but I would listen, like I knew Public Enemy. I knew how important they were.
Yep.
I knew KRS-One, Boogie Down Productions. I didn't so much listen to him as some of my friends who love him and know all the lyrics backwards and forth. Like, I wasn't so much. I was actually more into NWA than
Me too.
anything,
Yeah.
right?
Me too.
However, now getting
As white as I am,
but music
too.
is music, right? And good music is good music. And so, but also growing up, seeing the shift and being able to, even at a younger age, identify like, wow, the climate's changing.
Yeah.
And it went from self-destruction and empowerment and, you know, messages for upliftment to, I'm not going to say gangster rap, because I think that was just a a term that was coined and people ran with it.
By
But,
white media.
You know, reality rap, you know, and
Yeah.
whatever, right?
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
it shifted because it was like, oh, this is marketable. And then the unfortunate part is a lot of people fell by the wayside.
Yeah.
And so for me, I think there's always been a level of it. But I think after the last election, my wife and I, we had a therapy session recently, and she was talking to the therapist, and because it's about me, I'll share it. But she said like she feels like after the election, I've been angry, and I think that it hit me for her to say that because I heard it, right, and then I had to realize I have been, but I've gone through a bunch of different emotions of heartbreak, anger, feeling like if this is what people wanted, have at it, God bless. But then the humanity in me, seeing people suffer, or, you know, people I know directly have been, you know, detained by ICE. People I know directly, like their benefits have been taken. People have been fired. I can't just sit back, and I can't sit in here in this studio and know that someone outside is being, you know, pummeled and beaten up,
Yeah.
and be like, oh, well, you know, they shouldn't have, or whatever, right? And so
Yeah.
anyway, putting a button on it, I think now where I am, I want to just make sure I find my little pockets of joy. My wife asked me, am I happy? Right? Not necessarily in a marriage, are you happy, but just, are you happy? And I told her, no, but I find my pockets of happiness. And that's the best that I can do.
Yeah.
Right? And so I had a 90-minute massage this morning.
Oh, awesome.
And like unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so that's why the drive was even more hard, because I'm like, oh man, I'm so relaxed. Right? Like, but you know, there's certain things I think, you know, Sherelle Pringle, who was murdered, a young woman, she went out and didn't make it back home. And it was a whole media campaign of sharing her flyer, trying to get her home. And that broke my heart, mixed with a young woman, Deja Starr, who was, you know, stabbed, I think, like 25 or 30 times. I think her child was nearby. And then I remember Jossie Carrera, who I think was, I don't know if she's celebrating her 21st birthday. She went to a nightclub, and then she never made it home, and the guy took her. And
To Rhode Island or something.
Yeah, Rhode Island, Connecticut or something. And like, I just grew up with certain, you know, I definitely had a lot of street elements around me, but I grew up like no women, no children. And of course, crime and violence was being committed against women.
Right.
But I feel like now it's just like, Jesus.
Yeah.
And so as an artist, I was heartbroken and just feeling a sense of hopelessness. And I knew I wasn't going to run for city council or governor or mayor, or I want to all of a sudden start some nonprofit. So I wanted to figure out what could I do to bring awareness or attention to said thing, and be intentional about it, and not just do something for the sake of it.
Yeah.
And then when I started delving into domestic violence and all the layers to it, you know, I start looking at old things that I watched and didn't realize either A, the music that I would love, talking about NWA, so Boys in the Hood, right? Definitely some violence in there. 6 in the Morning by Ice-T. You know, we walked up to the whole continue to speak, so we beat the bitch down in the goddamn street. And I'm like, Jesus, right? I'm listening to that now, and I'm like, yikes. Or Cash Money got a record called Rocky, right? Like, and so the chorus is, if Lil Mama acting bad, then woe to you show her, ba, 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 Rocky Balboa, right? And I'm like, yikes. So I'm hearing all this stuff now, and I'm like, Ugh. So if I can inject some different energy into the ecosystem, you know, that's what my goal is.
And it was also, you know, the music then, and you're talking about like the 80s and 90s era going into the 2000s, and it was really, people didn't pay attention, I think. And because we all sang those songs. I know all those songs, right? People didn't pay attention. And now that we're in this space, the Me Too movement, and there's so much hypersensitivity around how women are treated, I like that you're like starting to kind of recognize those things and then just saying like, well, damn, like this shit is not good at all.
No.
But again, it was the culture.
It was a culture, yeah.
And I think like the rhymes are so good that
The music,
you forget.
the
Yeah.
music is hypnotic, and it's a
and
whole.
you sort of aren't thinking about what the words mean, right? It rolls off your tongue, right? The way the words are put together, and
that's the
music
programming. That's
Yep.
the, you know.
Yep.
But like Ashanti's "Rain on Me" was absolutely an inspiration. And what's funny is I always loved this song. So Karen White is known for like Superwoman, right? But she also had "I'd Rather Be Alone," right? And the lyrics is "I'd rather be alone and be unhappy." And the video is about domestic violence. And like, you know, the little boy sees the mother being beaten. And it's like, I'm looking at it now and I'm like, oh my God, I never saw that like that back then.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay. Even watching Ashanti's "Rain on Me," like I didn't really realize that song was what it was about. So, you know, I realized that if there's so many people singing destructive records unknowingly, then I think that there's a beauty to have some uplifting or intentional messaging the other way, you know, and have it be like unconscious.
Yeah.
You know, and I think oftentimes when there's messaging or positive messaging in the music, it tends to be just corny.
Yes.
And people don't see it as that.
Right.
Go to school and don't do drugs and don't hit your wife and it's like, no one's going to listen to that. It just doesn't work.
Right.
Right?
Right. Yeah.
Don't do drugs and, you know, listen to your parents. Be a good boy. It's like, and then you know, it's like, you know what I mean? That doesn't fly. So, but I also knew that I didn't want to now all of a sudden, because I am an artist and I would prefer to create and put it out in the world and go back into my cabin. I don't really want to be out and promoting and, you know, so Jay-Z and Nas I love.
Yeah.
Jay-Z was always more of the business person. Nas was more the artist. And now he has grown into being business. But I didn't want to be the domestic violence guy. Like, I didn't want that to all of a sudden be, that's my thing. Because I also feel a way about people that have sticks. Right? I don't know if I pronounce sticks. Sticks. I pronounce it.
Yeah.
When people hear it,
Black
they're going to be
people
like,
don't
wait,
say
people
that
have
word.
sticks? Like, what type of sticks? I'm like, no, sticks. But people, you know, it's the reality of anything, right? Like, without crime, police have no jobs. Without domestic violence, you know, the shelters and all the nonprofits don't have. So, you know, I don't want to be, I'm very, very mindful as much as I can be of how I present, you know, art that is attached to something, right? And I'm already working on like what the next iterations are going to be. But, you know, I also, the last thing I'll say about that is I think that as long as people are using their voice as resistance, I'm for it. I realize I can't save the world, right? And even though something is important to me and I care about it, someone else may not care about it. And I'm thinking about all the people who I knew before who were, you know, speaking out about Palestine or speaking out about police brutality or domestic violence or whatever it was. And I'm like, you know, and I would just, good for you.
Yeah.
So now I'm that guy of like,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, it is what it is.
It's hard to balance compassion and empathy with like taking care of yourself.
Life,
Yeah, because
a lot
you can
happening.
get overwhelmed with
Yeah.
all of the horrible things, and you can't do anything about a lot of things.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
pick one thing that you're passionate about, whether you want to save whales or trees or, you know, reduce the amount of plastic bottles in your school or whatever it is. Like, just focus on your thing, and we all play our part into the ecosystem of change.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Well, you're here because your film, Cry for Me, which does deal with domestic violence in a, like, just right off the bat, your film just like, okay, here we go. And you and I had talked before because we both have films that are dealing with something really hard. So, you know, it was... Well, do we want to show? Should we show a clip?
Let's show a clip.
Let's show a clip.
Fire, fuel my desire. I ain't lying when I say the one I need. Yeah, nobody's near you. Clear up in a review. Baby, let me hear you crying out for me. Crying out for me.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm gonna call you back.
Start this fire, fuel my desire. I ain't lying when I say the one.
Hey. Hello. Hello. Are you for real right now?
Open the door, Leah. Open the door, Leah. Open the door, Leah.
No.
Please, I need to use the bathroom.
Use the one downstairs.
Come on, I can't just... Can you open the door?
You're not getting in here.
We know what's happening, or we know what's going to happen. So, you know, none of this is really easy to talk about. And I don't think that we talk about it a lot in the Black community. I did a documentary back in the early 90s called Silent Screams, The Plight of Love Abuse and Being Black, which had to deal with domestic violence in the Black community. Just from this short clip, a couple things I just wanted to like shout you out on. I mean, the use of the kettle, and you and I talked about that, was just like so... Wow. And even like the coloring in the bathroom versus where you are. So who's the actress?
She's a lady.
She's a lady?
Yeah. It's my wife. Depends on the day. You know.
Oh, stop it.
You know,
Oh, nice.
You know, Leah Nicole. She's
Okay.
So, you know, the funny thing is things are meant to be what they're supposed to be. The original plan was it was someone that was supposed to be in it. They ended up having COVID 2 days before we shot.
Oh no.
And so, you know, the house was already rented, everything was already set, and I'm like, yikes. And so I'm stressing out, and Leah's like, you know, what can I do to help? Let me know how I can help you. And she is more of an introvert, right? But she's a hybrid now. She could be one or the other. And I was like, you know, I don't know. And I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? Like, what do you think about doing this? And she was like, what do you need me to do? Now, she's a survivor herself.
Okay.
And I think, you know, her tapping into those feelings and then having the comfort and the safety with me allowed it to be what it is. And I say that she's a star of the film, and I'm just like the glorified extra, right? But I think that, you know, there's a certain vulnerability even in that scene, because there have been times where if she's on it may not be a phone call like that, right? She might be like, hey, hey, what's going on? Or blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you're going to take your attention away from us watching People's Court or whatever we're watching to now be on the phone?
Yeah.
People's Court, because I've been watching that lately. I've been on a tear. I love Marilyn Milian. I have a crush on her. But, that's a real thing.
Yeah.
And her like now trying to get back my attention and get back to where we were. Now I'm in a bad mood. And so playing out in that way hasn't happened per se. But certainly, like, everything that happened, I could see her doing, of like taking a headphone off, right? Now, for me, if you really want to keep the peace and everything, you do that, and then you put it back the way you found it. But now she's mad, and she lets it slam, which is like, really?
Right.
And you're going to do that and walk away?
Right.
No, get back here.
Yeah.
And so even me saying like, I got to use the bathroom. Clearly, you don't have to all of a sudden use the bathroom.
Right.
But the kettle, I wanted to go into Alfred Hitchcock more than like Final Destination and Saw, even though I love those movies too.
Yeah.
But I didn't see the need of having violence on the screen because we've already seen it. And I love Law and Order, right? SVU in particular. And I just didn't feel a need of showing me doing something to her. But hearing the kettle boiling over, seeing red, in hindsight, my creative brain is I probably would have switched it and had red on my side. I would have probably switched the color now that,
Yeah.
but
we always do that. We go back to our stuff and we're like,
Oh,
I mean, there's a
should've
ton
done
of stuff that I watch in that, and I'm like, ugh. But, I also think that that's a good thing, because I think when you're arrogant and you're just so full of yourself and everything is great, and it's like, well, God bless.
Yeah.
Right? Like when you get on a stage, whether you're performing or speaking, you should feel those little tingles like,
absolutely.
are they going to like me?
Yeah, for sure.
Am I going to remember my words? Right? You should go through all those things in real time and then say, I got this. I'm a professional. Like Saturday Night Live. What is it, Stewart? They like me. I'm good enough. And, that's a reference where they're going to be like, I don't understand.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that's a reference to Saturday Night Live that I'm not sure if you watched it, but there was a character named Stewart. And
Stuart Smiley, right?
Stuart Smiley. And he was just always wanting to, make sure that everyone liked him. And he was very... Because we have a younger generation.
He was like an empowerment coach.
He was.
Right? And
I remember the one he did with Michael Jordan. That was hilarious.
We look in the mirror. I'm good enough.
Yeah.
I'm smart enough.
And gosh darn it,
people like me.
And people listening is gonna be like, "That's so cheesy," but you had to have been there. You know what I mean? It's
That's
one
right.
of those.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we were sharing it with
Yeah.
the younger.
Do your Googles.
Do
Stuart
Googles.
Smiley.
Do your Googles. I like that.
So sorry, you were going to jump in.
I was, but
Go ahead,
you're
do it.
obviously in charge.
No,
so I
do
don't want
it.
to. No, I mean, I don't want to be that.
I already forgot my
Okay,
question.
all right.
I love it.
So one thing that I really, really love that you did was you didn't sort of make the scene grungy and, basically the implication often is that people who are in these circumstances are poor and they live in the projects or they this. But instead, the dude's driving a Tesla. They live in this beautiful house.
At the time, it was a cool thing to do.
Yeah, well, right now, you know what? Today I saw a Tesla, and it said they had a sticker on it that said, "I identify as a Prius."
That's funny. That's funny.
Sorry,
I've seen that, and I've seen like the Elon with
I've seen that too. Yeah,
I mean,
I got this before Trump or something like that.
Yeah.
But that was intentional, and again, because it could have, I definitely could have access to certain places.
Yeah.
And I probably wouldn't have had to pay anything.
Yeah.
But I think I looked online. It wasn't Airbnb. It might have been the other one, Verbo or whatever it is. And I saw that house, and I was like, this is it. I think this is it.
Yeah.
And, you know, I might have stretched the truth a little bit about what I needed it for. Wink.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! The minute you say I'm making a film, it's like, oh, we're going to charge you three times the rent.
And I knew it was going to be a small crew. I mean, so this movie, and this is why, like, a lot of this is just intention and magic, and you know, I think intention and magic. So this film was made with Leah and myself and Benjamin Cassiani. And that's it.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's it.
So,
3 people.
So were you doing like production stuff and acting, or?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, you know, and we shot it in a weekend. We did it. We got there maybe Friday evening and did some stuff, and then woke up Saturday, had breakfast, and then shot some more and went until maybe 2 or 3 in the morning. And Ben unbelievably like held the boom mic while he was holding this, and he would like do the lighting, and then I think he did the color grading, and he wasn't so great at it, so he was like learning on the fly. Yeah. And then Malik Williams, shout out to him. You know, the music that's in the film now, and I think I didn't have I didn't have an understanding / respect for music supervision, right? Because I'm typically watching stuff that has music in it and it makes a scene perfect, but I'm not separating, oh, that's music added to it.
Right.
So, you know, I think the scene where I'm calling her and then you hear boom, 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 he added that. And so originally when I was showing and screening it, that wasn't there. Oh. And once he added, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Or like when she, you know, she walks out and my eyes open and here, and it's like.
Yeah.
So, you know, I understand now just how important that is.
Yeah.
You know, but the movie, it was 3 people.
Man.
And, you know, when you see a short film and you have the credits at the end, it's, you know, Jessica Myers and Frank Ocean and blah, blah, blah. And it's like scrolling and it's 150 people.
Yeah.
It was 3 people that did it. Before anything started, I reached out to a ton of domestic violence organizations, and pretty much all of them, with the exception of one that I just kind of got connected to. And they were all like, oh my God, that's a great job. Good for you. Thank you so much for, you know, your voice and your advocacy. And I'm like, yeah, thanks. But that's not what I'm calling you for.
Yeah.
Right? I was trying to either A, get some help in like sponsorship or something.
Yeah.
Or I was trying to connect with someone to be able to share the story and what I'm doing so they can add a different level of authenticity to it, right? Like coercive control and all that type of stuff. I had no idea what that was. This was just raw emotions and feelings and seeing that women were being hurt, and it doesn't end well, right? And so I just wanted to be the change I wanted to see in the world. Anyway, so reaching out to all the organizations, I didn't get any support. What I now realize is that these organizations fundraise for themselves.
Yes.
So trying to reach out to someone who fundraises for themselves, for you to get money from them, probably is not the best use of time. So once the film was done, I did the screenings. I said, I had it in a bunch of festivals. It's won 37 awards to date, and it's been in like 48 film festivals, I think.
Wow.
Right? And I didn't want to have it. One, it couldn't be because it was in the film circuit. It couldn't be online. And then once, it's still in consideration for 2 right now. But I didn't want to have it online because I just think it's a different level of when you're watching it, and then there's context and there's resources, and it's a conversation around it versus just watching on your phone while you're on your lunch break at work. Yeah. And it's also the fear of missing out, right? So if you know that something's happening every night, there's no urgency for you to go on Friday night because I'll just go next Wednesday. And all these rooms that I'm in were usually women talking to women, victims talking to victims, survivors talking to survivors. And I wanted to intentionally talk to young men, older men, because there were never any men in the room unless like their mother was murdered or their sister was murdered, or it's never any men. It's like, yeah, this is a good thing. This is the right thing to do. So I'm here in support. It's always, again, back to when it affects you is now when, so, you know, I just am focused on young men in particular, and I'm trying to prevent the next set of victims. I live every day being the change that I want to see in the world. Yeah. And that comes with a ton of heartbreak and disappointment because people suck.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But,
Indeed.
you know.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You either.
Aw,
How are you?
I was waiting for you to say.
Right?
But you say like, yeah, thanks. you suck, but thank you. I'll take that. But you know, it's intentionality. And what I know is that so many people do a lot of this work, and it's thankless, and you don't get paid for it, and you don't even get like money for a slice of pizza or a cup of coffee. And so what I want to always be intentional, and shout out to Killer Mike, you know, who's someone who I really like, admire. I want to use artistry to put the spotlight on something, and then I'll step out the way and let the experts come in. Nice. So I never want to present like, yeah, I'm the DV guy and I'll tell you. And it's like, you know, don't listen to me. I don't know. I just know it's wrong. Yeah. Here are the people to tell you why it's wrong and how it happens and what you can do once it happens and blah, blah, blah.
And I'm so surprised that V hasn't yelled at us yet because obviously you're very much enjoying this conversation as we are. We're a little bit over time, but that's fine. I mean, something like this is important. Where can audiences find your film now?
So it's not online, but the music video that's inspired by the film is on YouTube or my website, DanielLaurent.com. It's called Cry For Me. And so that is 3 minutes and like 50 seconds or something. And
I know you're rapping on it. Are you also singing?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
So, you know, I commissioned the record from someone, and so when they produced it, they had somebody sing on it.
Okay.
But I drove around with that song for probably like a month, just listening to it. And I wanted it to be perfectly executed. So I didn't want to sit down and just, because it's easy for me to write. Mm-hmm. But I studied Love the Way You Lie with Eminem and Rihanna. Yeah. And I studied See You Again with Charlie Puth and Wiz Khalifa. Right after Paul Walker died. Yeah. And so those songs, I wanted that feeling. Because there's a lot of people that sing Love the Way You Lie, and they don't know that it's about domestic violence. Right. They just sing the chorus, and, you know. Yeah. I'm like, he's talking about putting his fist through a drywall, you know. Yeah. So, you know, the song, once I felt good about the song, then I was like, okay, it's time to move to the next thing. But anyway, so it's on YouTube. It's on, if you search Cry For Me and then put Daniel, because if you just put Cry For Me, there's a bunch of like Asian artists for some reason, and I don't understand what that's about. and like, no, you know.
V, what's that about?
Listen, let me explain.
What had happened was, and then, you know, The Weeknd stuck his face in it. And so now he has a song called Cry For Me. Yes. So I'm like, what the hell, man?
Knock it off.
Yeah, no one told you to stick your face in the arena. So if you put Cry For Me, Daniel, it pops right up. Okay. And yeah.
Thank you for being on. This was
fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it really was.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and it's refreshing because it is kind of a crappy world right now, and we're stuck with a lot of bad stuff, and so it's nice to see people that are trying to do what they can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, I shouted her out before, but Congresswoman Ayanna Presley, she had a town hall, and she said, you know, do what you can. You know, everything is not for everyone. And so maybe you're not a person that's going to march. Maybe you're not a person that's going to write policy. Maybe you'll make a song. Maybe you will, you know, produce an event. Maybe you'll set up the sound for the protests. Mm-hmm. Maybe you'll rent the equipment.
Yeah.
So
maybe you'll make a film.
Yeah.
That part. Yeah. You know, you do what you can. You dream. I'm a doer. Mm-hmm. So I don't like to talk about, you know, let's do it. Yeah. And we'll fall on our face and we'll crack our tooth.
That's right.
But we'll figure it out.
We'll get it up and we'll
shout out to all the doers in the world. Yeah. Because there's not a lot of them either.
Right. For sure.
Yeah.
You're a doer.
I try.
Well, what do you do exactly?
I just put a floor in my house.
Oh. So you're handy
Nearly
dandy.
killed me. Yeah, what kind of dyke would I be if I couldn't put a floor in?
Oh, this water's so good.
I have all kinds of power tools.
Get to the water.
Oh, so refreshing. You know? Yes.
All right. Well, that's it for the short of it.
It definitely was short.
Daniel, thank you again, boss lady.
Yeah,
All
boss
right.
lady. Yeah.
That's it.
Thanks, Daniel.
Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you the next time on the short of it. That was incredible.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's an amazing human, which I love.
Because we don't always get amazing humans.
No.
As you said, like most people suck.
Yeah, they do, and like filmmakers, like when he was talking about people being sort of stingy with their contact information.
And full of
filmmakers are
themselves.
the worst.
Yeah.
So he was fab, and and the whole idea of like putting good into the world. I like.
I think we should start that.
Yeah, we should. Oh wait, didn't we? Isn't that why we're doing the podcast? Just because we are so upset about the state of the world that we just wanted to do something creative that was happy and nice.
Yeah, that's pretty much the short of it.